The following is a paid program by Gary C. Johnson, attorney at law. Welcome to Simply the Law, the program that gives you free legal information. Brought to you by the law office of Gary C. Johnson. Hello, everyone. I'm Keith Casebolt. Welcome into Simply the Law with my friend and the host of the program, Gary C. Johnson.
Great to be here, Keith.
It's
great to
always
have lived
good to be
another
here.
week.
And it seems like the week is starting to go by a little bit quicker nowadays.
The older we get, the faster the weeks go.
Nevertheless, good to see you again on a Tuesday night.
It's great to be here. Well, here we are again, folks, and hopefully you're sitting by a nice warm fire in your living room and enjoying it, and maybe a little popcorn, just some stuff like that in order to have some fun while we're doing this program. Tonight we're going to be talking about settlements in regard to when someone is in a lawsuit, what happens in regard to settlement. But before I get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we are pre-recording this. We're here in YMT studio right now, Keith and I are, and it's not necessarily very good weather outside right this minute, but we came over, and I will be at the office tonight in case any of you need to, if you've been in a wreck or you've been hurt and you need to ask me personally a question in regard to that, you can give us a call, give me a call, because I'll be there. Naturally, we don't have attorneys that are taking calls anymore. We stopped that some time back, but I personally will be there in case any of you need to call in regard to if you've been in a wreck or you've been hurt. See, I get to be there because my name is on the door, right, Gary C. Johnson? But no, I want to be there. I want to talk to you folks, and that's why I'm there personally. Now, the other thing is, we had a program one time where we talked about, before I get to settlements, we talked about Keith and the wreck he was in 30 years ago. And he went through all of that with you about how bad off it had harmed him. Well, on the way over here today, we rode together. And all I could hear about was that wreck and what it's done to him. So I'm going to ask him to talk to you a little bit more about that 30-year-old wreck that he didn't get any money out of, what's happening to his body today as a result of being in that accident that no one ever would have anticipated or thought about, and he didn't get any compensation for. So, Keith, you were dying to tell about it, so I'm going to let you, before we get started, I'm going to have you tell about it.
Well, you know, it's funny. I've been learning as we go along with this program, because you tell all the things not to do, all the things that could happen. And as you've laid out all this information on Simply the Law, it every bit applies to me. 30 years ago, I'm hit from behind in a car accident. What did I do? I jumped out, 10 foot tall, bulletproof, 16 years old. You know, nothing can hurt you. It was a tough lick. It totaled the car, but I never dreamed that I would have damages done, because at the time you're young and you want to be bold and brave and tell everybody you're not hurt. And then 30 years later, you find out that your neck is fused, and you find out you've got a disc pressing against a nerve in the top of your neck, and then you find out you've got two bulging discs in your lower back that's pressing against a nerve. And then all of a sudden, you're going through a lot of MRIs, and you're going through treatment, and you're getting options laid out to you, and you keep remembering back 30 years ago where it all came from. Now, the sad thing is, and Gary, this is the thing that gets me, and I really feel for your clients, is most people say, probably nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. And I keep asking, so this is it? This is as good as it's going to get? And unfortunately...
No, it's going to get worse.
Thank you. This is why he wanted to talk about it, because on the way over, he didn't make me feel better. Unfortunately, he told me, it's probably not going to get better, it's going to get worse. But you don't realize it at the time. Later on, you do. Then, as he and I are coming over here, and we're working today, most people would say, well, you can't be really having a whole lot of pain, or it can't be affecting you that much, or you wouldn't be working. Well, that's not true, because life goes on, and you want to work, you want to do things with your family, your friends, you force yourself to do it, and probably only those people close to you know that you're walking different or you're holding yourself different. And then I think of what you say all the time. If I did have a case, I don't. I didn't have one then. I don't have one now. Not going to have one in the future. But if I did, people would say, yeah, but I saw him and he was functioning. And then I would have to try to convince people that there was really something wrong. And that's why I shared it with Gary, because everything you've laid out in these programs fits like the alphabet. It's just right in order as to what has happened to me.
And the thing about it is, folks, and the reason I brought it up is Keith had trouble getting in and out of my vehicle to get over here. And I watched him. And we're up on a little small stage here right now, just very small, maybe this high. And I said to myself, I'm going to watch how he gets up there. So when he starts trying to get up here, he grabs hold of this table to steady himself. I mean, this man's just 45 years old.
I don't know why.
It's all because of a wreck that happened to him, a rear-end collision, 30 years ago. And how it has evolved over the years and what happened to him. And the thing I wanted to talk to you folks about, so you'll understand, so you won't prejudge people, sometimes it takes months, even maybe a year, before a person actually realizes how bad a wreck hurt them. And everybody says, well, he didn't run to the doctor, therefore he couldn't be hurt. That's just not true. Good, decent people don't want to be hurt. Good, decent people don't want to be in a lawsuit. And good, decent people try to deny the fact they're hurt when they're in a wreck. And it may be a week, it may be a month, it may be 2 months, when they finally have to give up and say, I'm going to have to seek medical treatment for what happened to me in that wreck. And the defense uses it against them. You couldn't have been hurt. You got hurt somewhere else. You did this. You did this. If you'd have been hurt like this, you'd have gone to the doctor. And it's just not true, is it, Keith?
Well, it's not true. And even loved ones close to you will say, if you were in that much pain, how did you attend the Super Bowl party on Sunday? I said, that's a once-a-year event, and all my friends come. I don't want to miss that. So even you have friends and family that will question you, how can you do this? How could you do that? Why did I come to work? Why would you try to play golf? Because you don't want your life to stop. That's why. I can answer it for you.
And you're not in any lawsuit trying to get money.
I am not in a lawsuit. I don't have a lawsuit. It was 30 years ago. The only thing I have is back pain, and I am the one paying the medical bills to have this done.
So without any further ado, we probably need to go to the computer and let me talk a little bit about what we're here for tonight in regard to settlements. And I wanted to lead into the settlements. There's my number in case any of you have been hurt and you need to give me a call. I'm at the office, okay? Now, general, remember we've done this before. Make sure you have underinsurance that protects you and your family. And if you'll remember, folks, I made a promise every program I ever do, this will be the beginning of it. Underinsurance, it is so important. Okay, settlement considerations. If you've been in a car wreck, truck wreck, motorcycle wreck, or whatever, and somebody's talking to you in regard to settlement, what can you do in regard to settlement? They're usually dependent on the amount of insurance available. I've never seen anyone get more in a settlement than the amount of insurance that was available.
Gary, before you go on with this, I want to ask a question. First of all, the testimony I just gave, I've been with Gary 11 years doing this program. I consider Gary a friend. He has told me point blank, if there was anything I could do for you, I'd do for it. There's nothing that can be done. Now, that's the hardcore truth. When you bring this point up about only the money that's there. Most people believe when they're injured that there is a pot of money, $1 million, $10 million, and all you have to do is go in and prove these damages and the money comes from it. It's simply not that way.
I had a client that I had to meet with yesterday. There's 5 people in a wreck, 5 people hurt, $50,000 worth of insurance, 5 cars damages, $10,000 worth of property damage, and that's it. And I'm sitting there trying to explain, he's a real elderly gentleman, the fact that he was going to end up losing money